just so everybody knows, this will be Kenny's last show with the Rabble. PK so he is. Right, we're going to get the laughs out the way early, right? Because I've got a funny feeling this isn't going to be one of those shows where we're happy and chatty. Yes, it is the 30-minute preview, but it's a 30-minute preview show with a little bit of a twist. It's a little bit of a Rabble special. So we're going to have a discussion first, and then we're going to go into the 30-minute preview. So it'll be a little bit longer than normal because we do have a good bit to discuss. And joining me tonight, I have Wilf and Kenny. Gentlemen, good evening. I'm not letting you say how you are because I already know. But yeah, it's not great. It's not great right now, folks. And I'm going to ask this just once because I'm not going to ask you to do it again. Please give the show a like and subscribe. I know that this isn't really the night for asking for likes and subscribes because we've got some serious stuff to discuss. But if you can do that, it would really, really help out the show. And all I'll do is I'll just I'll put that wee banner in there. Right, so I don't need to say it again. I'm going to ask it anyway. Wolf, how are you?
Shite.
Kenny, how are you?
I need you to tell reviewers that what you're saying. They'll think I'm leaving this show. You watch these comments. I like Kenny. What's going on? Is he we getting Russell Martin's job? I'm a fuck for a start. No.
We've only got one swear word left now. Thanks very much, guys.
Well, listen, don't blame us. Blame a certain vegan for govern.
We only get 3 swear words a show, and you and Wolf have got one each. So that means the next swear word's on me.
I haven't sworn. We said one word. That's not a swear.
That's a swear word. According to the YouTube algorithm, that is a swear word. So I get the next one. Right. Honestly, let's get in there. Wolf, I've seen Russell Martin's interview with Sky Sports today. Just his usual waffle crap. With his Harry Potter glasses on. Let's make no bones about it, Wolf. Right? We all felt how we felt about Martin before last night. The big questions were, will that make any difference to how we're feeling, or will we just roll with it and move on to Sunday? I thought the majority of people would just roll with it, to be honest, and then move on to Sunday and see what happens. But it seems to have reignited the anger. I don't even know if anger is the right word because I don't think we're angry. I think we're just all really fed up. But last night, here's my swear word. Last night, Wolf, shit show.
The fact you nailed it when you said that we're not angry because we got played off the park by a decent Belgian side, but they're no more than decent, right? A team that a Rangers side in Europe in the last 5 or 6 years, any one of the sides we've used in the last 5 or 6 years would have beat them last night, right? Because they were okay, but they weren't great, right? And we all came out of there, certainly I came out of there, and the guys that I travelled with came out of there, and we weren't angry because we're past the point of being angry. It's just horrendous. Absolutely. There's an old saying, something along the lines of the easy way to tell insanity is to keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. He's doing the same thing, right? And he's getting the same results. I mean, Andrew Cameron's in that director's box last night, right? Now, if any other manager or any of Andrew Kavanaugh's companies was as inept at his job as Russell Martin is at Rangers, his feet wouldn't touch the ground. I mean, they all go on about KPIs. For those that don't know, key performance indicators, which I only found out a few weeks ago, that's what it means, right? Because I'm not really hamstrung them at my work. But, you get KPIs, and Russell Martin will have KPIs. And when he came in, he said, look, we're going to be fast, and we're going to be fast flowing, it's going to be quick moving. It's none of that. It's none of those things. Everything he said it's going to be, it isn't. So he's failing his key performance indicators. He's not doing what he said he was going to do. So I've got no idea why he's still there. I mean, I heard somebody put in the chat this morning, the group chat this morning, that Andrew Cameron was the last person out of the director's box. I can't see that from where I sit in CD1. He was the last person out of the director's box last night, taking it all in. If he took it all in, he would have seen that Russell Martin stood on the touchline to shake hands with everybody as they came off, as a manager should do. And the main stand, almost to a man, started telling them where to go. I can't tell you what they were singing because we've used the swear words. And he skulked off down the tunnel. If that's not enough You tell Andrew Kavanagh that he's made a mistake with this guy. The fact there was 13,000 empty seats last night will tell him. It's our lowest European attendance since we got back into Europe when we came back up through the leagues. There was no atmosphere in there last night at all. Union Bears tried them, right? The Union Bears tried their best, but there was no atmosphere. It's just horrible. I don't think I've ever been so low. I mean, if you think back to 2012, right, when it all went right, it all went to rack and ruin for us and with all the financial problems, right? There was all the memes, all the things going about is if we play in the street, we'll watch them from the pavement, right? That's how loyal the Rangers support are. And there's Rangers supporters now going, I've got a season ticket, I'm not going back till he's gone. I've got European tickets, I'm not going back till he's gone. I'm not buying cup tickets because he's still there. Because the football's terrible. You can't see where it's coming from. You know what I mean, even if we had got the penalty last night that I haven't seen back because I can't bring myself to watch any of it. Even if we'd got the penalty last night and scored it, we'd probably still have found a way not to win the game. Because we were abject. I mean, you could drive a coach and horses through the defence, and it's been that way the entire season. Nothing's changed. There's no glimmer of light. There's been very poor Rangers teams in the fairly recent past, right?
Mm-hmm.
That have been defensively, they've been a bit of a shambles, but you can see that it's getting better game on game. This is getting worse game on game. The Hibs result last weekend, that was like putting a sticky plaster over a broken leg. I mean, had Martin Boyle's goal stood, we'd have lost that game because once we go behind, that's us beat. If we go behind on Sunday, I know we'll go on at Sunday. We go behind on Sunday, we ain't going to pull that back because it's just not what we do. We're totally inept. I don't get the team selections. I don't get the substitutions. I don't get what he's trying to do. There's just nothing. He seems to have overtrained the players that came in late in the window. Ant-Man came in his first game, looked absolutely brilliant. Gassama came in his first game, looked absolutely brilliant. Mikey Moore came in, looked decent when he came in. They've had it all trained out of them. It's as if they're told you can't think for yourself. I mean, we sign these players. For me, Rangers sign players because we're signing you to do this job because this is what we know you can do. And then they're told to do something completely different and play a completely different system. For me, none of the players that he's signed can play the system he wants to play. So what was the point of signing them in the first place? I mean, It's just, I'm done. I mean, I've never publicly been done with Rangers manager before in my 50 odd years of watching Rangers, right? But I am done with Russell Martin. I mean, there's a sword of Damocles hanging over his head, and it doesn't matter if we take 8 off of Livingston and go to Graz and get a result, and then go to Falkirk and get a result, and then come out of the winter break and we get Dundee United at Ibrox and we beat them. The first time he drops points, everybody will just turn on him again because there's nobody going to games supporting the manager. I haven't spoken to a single person that says, I think you can turn it around. If people think that, that's entirely their right. And Andrew Kavanagh obviously thinks that because he's still here, still on a job. I haven't spoken to a single Rangers fan, and I've spoke to a few who think Russell Martin can turn this around. So he's lost the entire support. He should have been going after Bruges because when the away European support turn on the manager, he's gone, he's finished, he's done. And I was unlucky enough to be in Bruges that night, and it was poisonous. The away end was as poisonous as I've ever seen it because it was just horrible. And let's be honest, Genk are no more than a decent Belgian side, and if that lad all could score goals more than the goal he scored, they'd have been 3 or 4 up at half time.
Yeah.
Just one absolute, but they were just cutting through us. And again, we were lucky to beat Pilsen. We beat Pilsen at Ibrox because they couldn't score their chances. You know, I mean, we got past the Greeks because they couldn't take their chances. The only player that's worth his salts in any of our European games really has been Jack Buckley because he's been so busy he's kept us in these ties. He kept the score down last night. That their poor finishing. That's been the same in every European game we've had, and it's getting worse. And domestically, it's the same. Teams don't need to try hard to play against us. We just give them the ball. We don't, you know.
Well,
we pass the ball about, right? And we'll have this possession starts to look fantastic, right? Because we pass the ball about 20, 30 passes, and we've got the ball for a minute and a half. And we started off on the edge of the D, and we finish on the edge of the D. We don't go anywhere. And then we just give the ball away. You know what I mean? We pass it about nice and pretty around the back. Van Bronckhorst got hounded for playing horseshoe football. And that's all we're doing now. is playing a fancier version of horseshoe football, and the ball will pass the ball about for a minute and a half, and end up back where we started. And it's just not. There's no the loneliest position, and I'm sorry to keep just go off on one, right? But for me, the loneliest position in football right now is the Rangers number 9. Right? You probably get more company being a lighthouse keeper, because he never gets the ball, and when he does get the ball, he's surrounded by the opposition because it's taking so long to get to him. And when he does get it, he's got nobody to give it to, so he's going to give it away. I mean, there's people, chastising Shanity last night, saying £8 million for that. Anytime he got the ball and he got a run on somebody, he actually looked all right, but he had nothing to do with it. Who's he going to give it to?
He had nobody around about him. He had nobody anywhere near him. Absolutely nobody near him.
They're all running away from him on the very rare occasions he got the ball. It must be so lonely up there with the Rangers number 9. And if you go back to the Hibs game, you've got the striker saying, "Look, this is where I want." Tell them where to put the ball. They don't put the ball. There was one last night out on the main stand touchline when the ball got put back for that man, and he hadn't carried on his run. They should be able to see he couldn't carry on. He didn't carry on his run. It's horrible. It's just. Ali, it's awful. I'll let Kenny speak.
Yeah, I'm going to bring Kenny in. Otherwise, this will be like just an hour of Wolf getting off his nut. So, but Kenny, I can't disagree with a single word that Wolf said there. But I mean, when we attack, we don't look like scoring. And when a team attacks us, they look like scoring. We can't attack. We can't defend. And we're cut open so easily. I keep hearing about this Russell Martin style of play. What is a Russell Martin style of play? Is it just simply be the best, make the most passes, and it doesn't matter what happens outside that? Is that Russell Martin style of play? What is
it? Your board of directors could take a pinch out of Wolf's book on the superlatives and how he explained that. I found myself engrossed because it's exactly. I'm not speaking for every fan, but I would imagine that's close to a high percentage of how many fans are thinking the same way. Especially when you're looking at the body language of Stuart when one of our players was down, one of our creative players was down. I think it was Kasama at the time. And the only one that applauded when he actually got to his feet because he wasn't injured was Kavanagh. Not a director, not any of the boys, not Purdy, none of them. Kavanagh applauded. Now, body language is a big thing for me, and you could see that this guy was genuinely like, right, okay, the guy's all right. Stuart never moved. And it might be a wee thing to people, but it galvanises the point that Wolf's making. There's no identity that cares about this squad or this team at all yet. I mean, if it did, it would let Russell Martin go and realise that the guy shouldn't have even been in a conversation for Glasgow Rangers, because he was never that type of football manager to get a job of the stature, of the pressure, the kind of goldfish bowl scenario. And he keeps going on and on about identity. The only identity I've ever heard about Russell Martin's football teams is this 25-game run. It keeps coming back up. But what about the other 3, 4, 5 years at different clubs that ended up really, really getting caught out? No plan B, inverted wing backs playing at a 3, all this rubbish, that eventually you become so predictable that other teams are absolutely dying to get a hold of you because they know how to set up, and they've obviously got 3 or 4 or 5 different plans to counter-attack that. If any team sits behind the ball, now we'll go on to Martindale, but at the end of the day, that's what most teams like that up there do. We don't have a plan B for that. We're playing possession football with no imagination up front. We've no last ball, we've no creativity. I don't know how long it took him to get off well and play him up, even a high 10. Some were just unlock. It made it very difficult when the red card came. I get that. But see, to be fair, see, when you look at the statistics for Genk to us, it's very similar. Possession, everything, very similar. I think they had 4 shots on target. We had 2. What did they do with theirs? Once they realised that Tavernier and Moore were getting caught down the left-hand side, where did the boys end up? Where did O end up? He knew. I mean, even when Cornelius had let him go when he tried to cover when Tav got caught high up, he didn't even look over his shoulder, mate. He kept running in towards the middle of the defence.
Kenny, did you see when O came off for the striker? He done this.
Yep.
To the striker coming on the park, he was going huge gaps, massive gaps.
Martin, that's the mess. It's do you know what's annoying about it, man? I teach Wayne's, and Christ, that's the kind of language at that age. You're saying, "Oh, See that there? Did you see that? See that? And this is an elite football in a European match, and the guy's telling them straight away. You should see the gap there, by the way. These guys have no clue. And I'm sorry, if it's hard to understand in the training ground, right, that's fine. But you're an elite athlete. You're at that level. Players should still take responsibility on the pitch to sort that out as well. All right. So very well blaming Russell Martin for that. But some of the players were absolutely all over the place. It was a simple formation that were playing against us. It wasn't anything strategically amazing. It was very, very simple. I mean, 13 or 14 in the league. They're no a terrific team at this moment in time. But we couldn't even handle. I mean, remember a couple of the breaks, it was like 3 to 4 passes, and they were either at our wing, just outside the 18-yard box, or they were central within 3 to 4 passes. Where's that playing? Where's this expansive football that he keeps talking about? And I think I'll be honest with you, I think the job was far too big for him anyway. And I've said this before, but when he keeps saying it, his ego made him apply for the job.
Well, I think that was inevitable, Wolf. I don't know if you were getting the same issues with Kenny's video as I was. Yeah. But yeah, that was pretty bad. I mean, look, again, you and Kenny are making all sorts of sense. And when I seen all coming off last night, it couldn't have been any more transparent than what he was saying, Wolf, about the space in our defence. And yes, players need to take responsibility for that, Wolf. Of course they do. But the players are also following exactly what Russell Martin's telling them to do.
Yeah, I didn't see what O did, because obviously when I sit in CD1, you can't see the bench without kind of standing up and craning your neck and stuff like that. So, but it's, I mean, Demi said it on here, like long and weary, right? That he can't take them all off, right? And if what he's wanting to do isn't working, they're professional football players of a decent level, you know. I mean, Russell Martin said to himself, "You've got to be of a certain level to get in this building. You've got to have the attitude to stay in the building." You know what I mean? And that's probably the only thing he said that actually makes any sense to me. So, I mean, if they can see it's not working, the problem is, for me, there's not enough senior players in the team, right? It's not been lost on me that most of what we've signed under Russell Martin are younger players who are going to do what they're told, because they don't have the experience to say, look, this isn't working. Look what happens when they crossed them. Raskin asked him a question, get dropped for 2 games. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Always get sent to Coventry, so to speak. You know, because he questioned them, and he's experienced, but he's not as experienced as like a Cornelius or a Tavernier. There's not enough of these guys in the team who can say, like, listen, this isn't working. So what we're going to do is, and if he kicks off, we'll take the heat for it. You know what I mean? Because it clearly isn't working. And as I said earlier, he signed these guys for how they play football, and he's trying to change what they do. I'm not a tactician. I don't know. I haven't got a clue about tactics, right? All I've ever done in my life is want Rangers to win games of football. Right? I've started watching games a bit more differently since I started doing this, because I like to, I want people to think I know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And I do kind of look a bit more tactically at where people are playing and things like that. But it clearly isn't working. I mean, we've got a young 18-year-old guy on loan from Spurs who, to my knowledge, he played down the middle for Spurs a couple of times, I believe, but he's effectively a winger. Right? He's playing him in central midfield. Or he appears to be playing him in central midfield. Or if he's not, that's where he's going. That's certainly where he went last night. And if that's not where he's supposed to be, nobody's telling him, listen, you, Mikey, get out on the wing. You know what I mean? For a start, we shouldn't have a Rangers player called Mikey, but that's another story. You know what I mean? But, if he's supposed to be a winger, then stay on the wing. Don't hide infield, or don't go infield.
You can be, I just want to say, you can be called whatever you want.
Called anything you like, yeah. You can be called anything you like, yeah. I'm an old man that shouts at clouds. But it's, he was going on after the game, the red card changed the game. We could have been 3 down before they scored.
The red card didn't change the game. That's nonsense.
We actually played better with 10 men, right? Because Diamondi was posted missing anyway. But he gets a midfield player gets sent off, and the only substitution he makes at half time to change the system is to put on a winger who hadn't been playing on the wing. So the midfield that wasn't there in the first half at all, because it was getting overrun, was even less of a midfield in the second half, because it was a man light, because he didn't replace the guy that got sent off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then when we're behind the 8 ball with 10 minutes to go, when a goal down at home in a European tie against a team we really should be beating, what does he do? I'll tell you what, they'll take my striker off and put another striker on. Why not go with 2 of them? Play one behind the other. Play them both up front. Try something. You know, you're getting beat anyway. Go three at the back, 4 in midfield, 2 up front. Just go for it. But he doesn't. It's like for like. He can't change. He can't change the system. He just. It's frustrating the life out of me. It really is.
I mean, Vix, with a super chat channel member. Thank you very much, Vix. Too scunnered for words, but I'll still pay a super chat. Well, thank you very much for the support, Vix. I think we're all scunnered for words now. Because, and Vix, thank you. Because I always, apart from when I'm really angry, right, and after a reaction or whatever, or I come on to do a show and the anger hits, then I'll go into a monologue or I'll go on a mad rant or I'll get angry. But I always try, Kenny, and come on with the, right, what's the opposing view? Even if I firmly believe the narrative, which of course I do, the narrative around Russell Martin, I think every Rangers supporter believes it right now. But even if I fully believe it, Kenny, I always try and come on with, right, but what's the opposite view? Right? What would other people on the other side of the argument be thinking? And I try and bring that up and try and put that to people to get an answer from them. But Kenny, I don't know, what is that opposite view? What is Andrew Kavanagh thinking? What is Patrick Stewart thinking? What is Kevin Thelwell thinking? What is the opposite view to every Rangers fan, every media outlet abroad, every single person you speak to who's into football and knows about the Rangers situation, who have all said, Russ, job's too big for him, he's got to go. What is that opposite view, Kenny, for Kavanagh and the likes that think, no, he can still do a job? Why?
I think that if I'm going to try and back Kavanagh slightly here, and I'll tell you why. I just think that they've gave these professional people that were already done a job who might have been available to come a chance, and they've shat on him. And I don't think he will basically take that very kindly. I'm hoping that's the American thing where they you got to do an interview and they've sold themselves very, very well. And I'm talking about Thewell as well, by the way, because that £8 million deal is a farce and it's a shocker and it needed investigated in my eyes. I mean, you saw the state of Ali McCoist and Hutton trying to talk about it at the side of the park. They couldn't physically get it in their head why that was even happening at all, especially not just because of the fee involved, but because of the amount of football this young lad hadn't played. And it's not the wee guy's fault. It's nothing to do with the wee guy. He saw it as a career opportunity, obviously, but there's dealings there that I've really shocked and Marathi and all that, I think. And I think they're starting to sniff a wee. I mean, look at the body language between Kavanagh and Stewart up in that box. There wasn't even a bit of talking. You remember, I said you remember the days of David Murray and all that. They would all sit and they would chat and all that. You know what I mean? They would be talking about things or looking at the park, and there would be superlatives. They would be trying to have a conversation with her. There's nothing. Every time the camera went up there, Kavanagh was stone-faced, staring straight on. Stewart, stone-faced, straight on. Thewell, everybody, nobody was conversing with each another, and it looked like a happy camp. It looked like a split camp, and everybody's been in a workplace like that. Everybody's been in a football club like that, or done sport.
Oh, right, we've lost Kenny again. Right, just on that point, though, about it not being a happy camp. I know you didn't see it last night, well, because of where you were sitting, but nobody in that director's box looked happy last night.
I can believe that. I mean, see, the Patrick Stewart thing, I was led to believe when he came in, right, that the main reason they brought him in, right, was because he had been the guy that sort of brokered the deal, or the intermediate that brokered the deal for the takeover at Man United, right? And there was a takeover happening at Rangers, and he was coming in to do that because he had experience of dealing with Americans for takeovers and stuff like that. That's why he was in. That was the only reason Patrick Stewart was in as CEO, and I expected him to be gone fairly shortly after the takeover had taken place and the Americans put their own man in. Now, that clearly hasn't happened, right? Clearly hasn't happened. But as Kenny said, I expect Kavanagh will do something about that, particularly if, as you guys are telling me, and I've got no reason to say that, it's wrong, that there was no chemistry between them last night at all. I mean, for me, the fact that Kavanagh was last out of that director's box tells a story that he's there having a look about just to see. Because you would have thought, if it was all pally-pally and they were chatting, somebody would have stayed with him. Patrick Stewart or Thelwell would have stayed and said, pointing things out to him, doing whatever. If he's standing there on his own and he's last man standing, so to speak, that speaks volumes for me. The rest of them obviously scuttled off back into the blue room to get their, the wee double whiskey and the wee prawn sandwich. You know what I mean? It's. I think Kavanagh's going to act, but he needs to do it very, very soon. And if he's anything like the businessman I'm led to believe he is, it won't really matter if Russell Martin goes on a run and wins. I mean, he might, now that Kavanagh's been over this week and seen what's going on, we've got an international break in a fortnight, right? That gives him 2 weeks to get a new manager in and get things sorted out. I wouldn't be surprised, and I don't know anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if he acts then. If after the Falkirk game, that could be Russell Martin's swan song. That could be him going, irrespective of if he beats Livingston, gets the result and Geratzen beats Falkirk. I think he might still jettison him. Or
I don't know why you wouldn't. I don't know why you wouldn't just do it now. I really don't know why you wouldn't just do it now. But I need to answer this super chat quickly. Paul Robertson, Martin, and thank you for the support, Paul, channel member as well. Martin, any chance I can get on here right now, mate? No chance, Paul. It's not a phone in, and if I let you on, I need to let everybody else on. It's not a phone in, unfortunately. But you can still have your say on Monday, mate. You can still have your say on the morning rabble on Monday when people get the chance to phone in. But thank you for the super chat, my friend. Thank you for the support. But no.
Martin, can I just pick up on the why he hasn't acted? Now, I think he should have acted now. I think he should have acted after we got hammered in Bruges, right? But it's only a personal thing. I think if and when he gets rid of Russell Martin, he'll want to bring in a permanent boss straight away. I don't think he'll want to bring in an interim for any period of time at all. And I'd like to hope he's working in the background, getting that guy lined up, whoever it may be, just so that it's a case of, like, Russell, thanks very much. There's a box full of your belongings. See you later. Don't let the door hit you on the bottom on your way out. And by the way, the new manager is.
I wish I could agree with you, Wilf, but Kenny, I don't see that at all. I think if they were going to sack him, I don't think Kavanagh waits. I think he just sacks him. I don't think he waits until such times as he's even got a new guy to come in, because if they, and this would be the thing that would scare me the most, Kenny, if they haven't already been sounding out or looking at other managers who could possibly replace Martin after the start to the season, even if they still believe that he can turn that around, you still have to do your due diligence. It's hard for me to say that. And have a look about and see what's there. If they haven't done that, then that's even more terrifying. But if Kavanagh was going to do it, if he was going to pull the plug, it would be now. He wouldn't be waiting until the international break. Although I understand why Wolf said that, but Kenny, I disagree. Just
depends what way you think as an owner, don't you, as well, and what advice he's been getting, because he's never owned a soccer club before. He's probably gotten all his information off Bharat Marathi and all that. And I think I honestly think if he's going to get rid of him right now, it's quite. I mean, you're needing to get a reaction for the Livingston game. If you wait until Livingston draw ways or a worst case scenario, I mean, it must be really difficult, because you're thinking, right, okay, was it going to turn a corner after Hibs? No, the game I mean, the start of the Gent game I was thinking, well, this is different. Started really well. This is looking all right, and then it just started losing momentum. So I agree with you, boys. I think he's in there for a wee while. Yeah, I think he'll be there. He'll be in the dugout for Livingston, without a doubt. Whether it's over the international break, I don't know. But I'm sick of waiting until we drop points. I'm sick of waiting and this going wrong. I'm sick of waiting and us falling further down the league when we know that the job's too big for him. As Wolf was saying earlier, man, his formations, his substitutions, his thought process in a very stressful situation, in-game moments is beyond me. And what keep ringing in my ears and my own head, my own thoughts, was all that my own due diligence I done with the MK Dons, with the Swansea, with the Southampton, with the minus 28 goals minimum, or 27 goals minimum a season, each team. And then you guys, I think it was Ian, who was talking to some of the fans for MK Dons, etc. And they were saying he'll start blaming the fans, he'll run out of ideas, he'll suck the life out of the players. All of these things are happening, guys. That's what's freaking me out. So that's just not just us fans hearing that. That must be directors. It must be all these people looking into it. And is Stewell having a lot more say in this than we thought? Because I thought that the American owners would just go, listen, Rangers, that's the worst start to a league they've had in a long, long time. There's 38,000 at a European game, which has never really happened. The atmosphere in the stadium for a club legend's telling you it's the worst he's ever heard. I'm getting an Old Firm ticket, for God's sake, with just no problem, which never, bloody gold dust. You can't get them if you've not got a season ticket. So all of these things are starting to show you that this is only one way it's going down, and Russell Martin hasn't got the cojones on it to pull this round. He hasn't. He just hasn't. He's no that stature of a man. He's no got that thing about him where you walk into a room, you go, oof, he's got a bit of an aura about him, this guy. He's not got the background history. He's not got the trophies in the cabinet. He's not fought so hard with relegations, etc., or promoted, because it went through a kind of but it's still luckily the way he got up. It wasn't like I won the league outright. You know, it's no Daniel Farke stuff or whatever else. It's annoying me. It's annoying because the cracks are there, but as you said earlier, the due diligence, if you do it, it's dead easy to find that he's never going to do anything other than he's doing now, because that's where his level goes. It doesn't move. Past and previous clubs have showed you that this doesn't change. We've saw this story before. MK Dons have saw the story before. Swansea have saw it before. Southampton. This should never have been a job for the guy. I'm sorry. I don't know the guy personally, but it's not the calibre of manager I was expecting to come out of anybody's mouth when there was these guys getting named about Rangers manager's job. I couldn't physically believe how you could put Jose Mourinho in the same fucking sentence as Russell Martin or any of these guys. It can't be happening. And I think secretly deep down we knew this was going to happen. And this is actually happening. And if he doesn't act on it now, I think he's going to lose a lot more than his own self-esteem, Calvin, if he doesn't show us what he's made of, show us his metal, and just say, listen, enough's enough, pal. You know, this is my baby. I've just walked into it and you're shitting all over it. It has to change, or we're going to end up with empty stadiums and no merchandising and bought, and etc., etc. The guy is struggling, and he's not going to be able to save it. Boys, he's no.
No, he isn't. And the rumours were it was between 12 and 14,000 empty seats last night, which never happens for a European game. It never ever happens for a European game. And also, Kenny, on your point there, I get asked, let's just make up a time. I got asked at 12 o'clock in the afternoon if I could get a ticket for Livingston. By 12:01, I had a ticket. And then I got asked a minute later if I could get a second ticket, and by 12:03 I had 2 tickets. I know Livingston's one of the easier grounds to get a ticket at, right? I understand that. But a couple of days, 3 days before the game, and you get 2 tickets just like that? No problem.
Livingston, as you say, Livingston's a very bad example because we get over 7,000 tickets, and there's always loads kicking about for Livingston, right? Because there's loads of guys for years haven't gone to away games. But Brian put a comment up there that's just gone through, right, about the Sturm Graz tickets for next week, right? Now, Rangers get allocated just under 1,400 tickets for Sturm Graz next week, right? And the numbers are coming down because people just aren't buying them. People that registered for them aren't buying the tickets. Now, Rangers haven't said yet whether it's QR codes they're sending out or whether you have to pick them up over there, right? That stops a lot of people because they don't know if they've got no intention of going, they're only wanting the MyGS points, all that sort of stuff, right? But there's enough people who will be going over that will buy the tickets. It's going to go down. In Pilsen, we got what, 650 tickets in Pilsen. They couldn't sell them all because folks just aren't going to the game. They can't. How can you turn around? How could Kenny turn around to the missus and say, by the way, I'm away to Austria next week to watch Rangers? And she goes, wait a minute, you came back for the game last night. There was fire coming out your mouth. Your team's that bad. I'm not letting you spend 600 quid to go to Austria to watch that nonsense. Like, you just can't do. I'm in the fortunate position. My missus is a football fan. She understands what it means, and she knows it's not always good. You know, and she knows I'm going to go anyway. But you'll get loads of guys, and sorry to pick on Kenny just because he's here, but there's loads of guys in that situation.
Well, it's funny you say that because Kenny's missus only allows him out the cage so many times a week. So
yeah, but you know what I mean? There's so many people in that situation. Where money is tight for people, right? And they've got families and they've got this and they've got that. And let's not forget Christmas is 3 months away, or that sort of stuff. So how can you justify spending it? Because you're not going to enjoy it. You'll enjoy the trip away, but you're not going to enjoy what you're going to watch. So you're not going. Simple as that. The fact that we've got less than 1,400 tickets for a European game, the first away game of this league stage, and they haven't sold them all yet. And it'll probably go down to a free-for-all for MyGS members, like it did in Pilsen. Because people, as I said earlier, he's completely lost the away European support. And once he's lost them, there is no going back. And Kavanagh's got to understand that. Marathe's got to understand that. I mean, Patrick Stewart has got to understand that, but he shouldn't even still be in the equation because he should be gone, as far as I'm concerned.
Here, well, can I jump in on that? I know it was colder than we thought when we went up to the Rangers game as well, And my boy went into the shop and I thought, right, he's freezing. I'm going to get my jacket, just a wee pull or something. He's like, frozen, Dad, no problem. One of the wee coaching jackets for a 12-year-old, 85 quid.
How much, Kenny? Because you're breaking up there.
85 quid.
For a jacket.
Right, so this is a wee boy, 12-year-old. And I says to him, wait a wee minute here. I says, is that right enough? Is that the adult size? She goes, no, the adult one's 95. I says, another half of that material, and there's a tenner of difference. And this is what, just to back Wolf up about, you'd want us to spend £150 a Castore hoodie, you'd want us to buy the latest strips at £60 a tap for an adult and all this kind of stuff. And you want us to pay this money. You want us to keep spending this money, but you're producing this absolute rot on the park. Mm-hmm. You're also producing, letting a manager produce this type of football, and we've still been asked to do season tickets, and we've still been asked to spend all that money.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, Martin. It's not just.
We do need to touch on the Livingston game at some point, guys. So
well, it's not just the punters not going to the games, right, and not buying the tickets, right. It's the fact that Ibrox was dead last night, right. Walking about outside, it was really, really quiet, right. I was in Livingston House Cafe before the game, right, and it was quiet. I mean, it's a small place anyway, but it was quiet. The shop was quiet. The fan zone will be quiet. Outside, everybody was quiet. So they're not making. They built Livingston House to have a fan zone to make money, and they're not. And the drink's no cheap in there, right? And it's usually really busy. It wouldn't have been busy last night. I don't know what I didn't go in. I don't know what it was like, but it wouldn't have been busy last night. I didn't see a queue at any point. There's usually always a queue because people just aren't going in. Midweek's difficult for some folk anyway because of getting to the ground late with work and all that sort of stuff, right? For me personally, I meet my mate outside the gates of the school, right? And my turnstile's right opposite where I meet him to go into the club deck. And if he's not there by 3/4 an hour before kick-off, I go in because there's a queue across the street for the club deck. I went in half an hour for kick-off yesterday. I walked straight to the turnstile. There wasn't a queue because nobody's going to the game. Nobody's getting into the games. It's costing.
It's only going to get worse.
It's costing. Last night, somebody worked out. I heard on a podcast earlier. I think it might be Colin at Heart and Hand that if you take into account the prize money would have got had we won the game, right? Whatever it is, £350,000 if you win the game, plus the ticket sales we didn't sell. And the merch we wouldn't have sold, not winning last night cost us the thick end of £1 million for that one game of football. And it's going to get worse. Particularly if he's still in situ come the next European game, which is Roma in middle of November? Before we've got home European, because the next two are away. You know what I mean? So it's just going to get worse.
Right, can we move on to Livingston now, please? Have you both had your rants? Are you feeling better now? Are you feeling better?
I could be here all night if you've got the time.
I know, right? No, and we don't. We absolutely don't. I'm on a diet and I've not had my dinner yet. I just want to say a big, massive thank you to Andrew Duncan, who has put in a huge super sticker. Thank you very much, Andrew, channel member, massive supporter of the channel. Unfortunately, his super stickers a wee bit of a kick in the gut because it's somebody scoring a goal. Which we tend not to do very often anymore. And we even struggle to create chances to score goals. But Andrew, mate, thank you so much for the massive super sticker. Greatly appreciated. Welcome back, Iron Blue, to being a channel member. Iron, I hope you come back and enjoy all the extra content. Thank you very much. Jordy, who has been a member for 13 months. And yeah, I mean, this is a point. I mean, we could be here to midnight. Serious and legitimate questions must now be asked of Kavanagh and the 49ers enterprise incompetence for allowing Russell Martin to remain in his job. That's going to be a separate show on the incompetence of the board. And I think that'll be coming sometime on Monday or Tuesday, maybe. It'll be after the Livingston game anyway. We'll definitely be speaking about that. Gaz1872, super chat. Thank you very much, Gaz. Massive supporter of the channel. I don't know why that, but we've used up all our swear words. Clown is still here. They are just prolonging the agony. Get him out. That's me being PC there. And that's the question that we've been asking tonight and none of us can answer, is why they're prolonging the agony. Absolutely no idea. Gaz, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. But it's something that needs to be sorted and it needs to be sorted soon. Blue Tie also, with another super chat, channel member. Thank you very much, Blue Tie. Whole concept of a head coach at Rangers needs binned. It undermines the person in the position, and at a club like ours, we need a manager with aura. which is certainly something that Russell Martin does not have. I mean, Steven Gerrard had aura. Gio had a wee bit of an aura about him, but maybe not quite as up there. Michael Beale certainly didn't. Clement had that wee bit of an aura about him right enough, but Martin's got nothing. Martin's got absolutely nothing.
It's not even aura. You could replace the word aura with the word charisma, right? They all had something about them. Even Beale had something about him. Russell Martin's got nothing. He's got the personality of a wet lettuce. With apologies to any wet lettuces that are watching. You know what I mean? Just there's nothing about it. There's nothing about the guy that would attract you to him. If you were standing beside him in a pub and didn't know who he was and he started speaking, you would probably just find an excuse to walk away. Because I don't find anything charming about him or nothing. I don't get it. You know what I mean?
No, I don't get it myself at all. Right, so before Kenny's internet completely packs up, Kenny, Sunday, Livingston away. Is a toughie. It's always been a sort of tough game. I remember the year that we won the league. Do you remember that? We only managed to win 1-0 there, and it was a tough game. So under normal circumstances, you're going into Livingston away thinking to yourself, that pitch, the way that Martindale sets up his teams. I'm guessing, I don't want to put words in your mouth, mate, but I'm guessing you're going into Sunday with little to no confidence of a win.
I'm a bit apprehensive more than I should be because obviously the results for the start of the season have been terrible. You know, so have we though. It's going to be one of those ones where you need some sort of plan to break them down because a lot better managers than Russell Martin have went to this ground and tried to break down a part of the bus mentality. Martindale's actually quite good tactically, believe it or not. I think he's a decent manager. I know it's brutal. That's what happens if you get teenagers and boys all on the internet at once.
Get them peddling a bit quicker.
It's the missus, man. She stopped. She's throwing a packet of crisps now, so she is.
She keeps pressing that button to cut you out, doesn't she? She's quite evil like that, your missus.
Oh, aye, definitely. But I do think that Martindale's got, he must be rubbing his hands, as one of the comments said there, because he knows fine well that we're running out of we've no imagination or skill levels when it gets to the last third between. I mean, not to go back to the Gent game, but that see the next time Ant-Man sprints into the middle of the park instead of hitting the byline, and I want to see some chalk on his ankles, his heels, and hit the byline and get across into the box, because he's fantastic at doing it. But the last against Genk, he just kept cutting back across the park and into the middle, running out of ideas, and eventually when they playing it back to Tav or into the central defensive play or across the park. I don't understand why we've got a winger with such pace that doesn't take a 1-2, a ball over the top and hit the byline. I just don't understand what the hell we're doing with that, because with the likes of your Livingstons, you need to do the 1-2s, you need to break them, you need to have an imaginative pass in you, you need to have movement up front that can move off the ball.
You need to be quick, Kenny. You need to be quick.
Yeah, very, very smart, very quick diamond play, very, very fast passing. We've got none of that. That's why I'm a bit panicked. I'm a bit panicked that we don't know how to get by this low block, as they call it. So I think we'll still win, but I think it's going to be a hell of a struggle.
What's he going to do, Wolf, team selection-wise for you? I don't really think it. I'll be honest, mate. We have these conversations all the time. We've had them for years, Wolf, about upcoming games, previewing games, talking about team selection, talking about tactics. We know how Martin's going to approach the game. Does it really matter what team he selects?
No, it doesn't matter a jot which 11 Rangers players he puts on the park. As you said, it has to be quick flowing football, the football that he promised us, right? Every team that we've played this season has outworked us. Every single one of them. Whether we beat them or even Hibs, right? And we beat Hibs. They've outworked us, right? They've worked harder than they've been quicker to lose balls than us, right? I'm going to throw another saying at you, right? Because I'm full of them tonight, right?
Please make sure it's correct.
Hard work beats ability when ability doesn't work hard, right? We haven't been working hard. There is no excuse for not working hard, right? Every single person watching this tonight, right? Us three here, everybody in the group chat, all the guy, most of the people that we know, certainly all the folk that I know, because I don't associate with the other lot, right? We'd die to have that Rangers jersey on their back, right? We would run till we couldn't run anymore, right? These guys just don't care, and it's probably the way he's asking them to play. Alex is right. Just win. It's just, and not just for the sake of his watch along. It's if they score first, I feel the worst. I really do. And Martindale, the guys in the comments are right. Martindale knows how to play this. He'll just sit in, low block, break up the park, try and win free kicks and corners, long throw-ins. We can't defend set plays. We just can't defend set plays, and we give away stupid free kicks, stupid fouls. We make daft decisions. Diamondi last night, okay, it wasn't in a dangerous area, but the guy's going nowhere, middle of the park. I'll just throw myself into this. I don't need to challenge him, but I will. It's a red card. That's him away. We make challenges like that all the time. Maybe not as hard as that all the time. Give away stupid free kicks in dangerous areas, and Livingston will have guys that can hurt us. They'll wait till we're. I don't know the makeup of Livingston's team. I haven't seen them this season, but they'll have somebody that they can put through the middle that's quick, that can outrun our defence. Because let's be honest, Martin, since you've lost all your weight, you could probably outrun our defence.
I wouldn't go that far yet. I wouldn't go that far yet.
No.
I could outrun Kenny's Wi-Fi, but I don't think I could outrun the defence yet.
Good. I'm dreading Sunday. I'm like Kenny. I think we'll win, but to win we have to score first. And right now we're not scoring a lot of goals. I mean, we've got a -2 goal difference in the league. That's horrific after 5 games.
We need to stop looking at this like a normal season when it comes to teams that we're going to visit. We need to stop looking at the likes of Livingston and of course, Wolf, and you've always been, especially since I've known you since we started this. I remember when we used to do predictions and you wouldn't even predict Rangers losing a goal, right? So for you to say that you're nervous for Sunday, I think that shows exactly where this Rangers team is. But Kenny, we need to stop looking at this like it's last season or the season before that, where we're going to the likes of Livingston and the default setting in our brain is, we probably will win, because that's the default setting in a Rangers fan's brain. I don't know how anybody can genuinely sit there with any confidence, Kenny, and the default setting be, I think we're going to win.
Yeah. I think they're used to having a manager with a wee trick up his sleeve with these tight, low block teams, but we've no got that this time. And he's relying too much on the players, maybe getting them out of jail. I think that's a worry. I think that's the wrong thing. And I think you're right, mate. I think me just hoping that this lesser team, sorry for the Livingston fans, but it is, we should be getting by them pretty easily. And I think you're right, it's my mentality. Maybe we'll get back under a bit of shock. But how many teams have we said that about this season? And then we ended up losing points or even getting beat. So, yes, as a worry, Martin, you're right. Maybe possibly we should be thinking, right, this should be getting changed right now before we lose any more points in that league against lesser opposition, because he doesn't have a clue how to play against his own league teams. He just doesn't. And I think you're right. I think it's a default setting in the Rangers fans, and I'm trying to keep it as positive as I can. I thought Hibs might have shocked us, and it actually, you know, something mentality-wise, it actually shocked me that we beat Hibs. So it did, to a certain extent. So, yeah, you might be right there, mate. You might be right there.
But, Kenny, the difference with the Hibs game is we scored first. Had that Martin Boyle goal stood, and if it hadn't been so much furore over the handball the week before by Shanklin that was given as a goal, right? I don't think a Martin Boyle goal would have been chalked off. Had that stood, we're not beating anybody that scores first against us. We just haven't got the mentality for it. They just shrink into themselves. Do you
think it was very, very? It was very. As a big point there about when the end of the game against Genk, when every panelist, including Hutton and McCoist and Arfield, all said we haven't got the players with the mental strength to play here, and I think that's what's letting them down, because they need to learn how to play in that atmosphere first before they know how to try and get good football out of them. Which I thought that was a very, very telling sign when they all said the same thing, that they had to learn how to play in that atmosphere. So if the managers not been able to cope in that atmosphere, then it's going to reverberate onto the players, isn't it? And you can see that they're panicking.
When Ali McCoist comes out and says it's pretty much time up, because Ali McCoist never does that. I've never heard Ali McCoist about any Rangers manager say it's time to go, and he hasn't actually come out and said that. But what he was saying last night on TNT, what he's been saying maybe for the last kind of week or so, when Ali McCoist is done with a manager, because Ali likes to keep everybody happy, right? He's a great guy, he's a great commentator, he's a great presenter, he's a great co-host or whatever on shows, but he likes to keep everybody happy. And he tends to sit on the fence-ish when it comes to the really, really big points. He's done with him now. And when Ali McCoist is coming out and saying that, well, there's nobody left.
Yep. Martin, the way I see it, when I'm coming out saying that there's nobody left, I'm the most positive Rangers fan I know. I've never, ever publicly called for the head of a manager before. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm done with them. Absolutely done with them. But you're right. Ali McCoy's, my mate sums it up. Ali McCoy's everybody's mate. Doesn't like to upset anybody. You know, because, and he doesn't, and it's good. It's good professional broadcasting from him. But when he's done, I mean, to Kenny's point about what the boys said last night in the panel, and again, I didn't see it, about them having the mentality. We were told in the summer that every player they were going to sign, they made sure they were decent players, obviously, and they had the mentality to be here. I mean, the Russell Martin, you had to have an ability to be in the building in the first place. You have to have mentality to stay here and get in the team. Well, clearly, no. The guys who have been there and done it, and one a lot of stuff with us have turned around and said they don't have that. They don't have the mentality. Now that's got to come from the top. But the whole thing, it's not just the players and the manager and all this sort of stuff. See, as a club, we're in absolute shambles because here's one that will probably shock you because you probably don't know about it, right? We kicked off last night in the European tie at 8 o'clock, right, at Ibrox. At 7:45 last night, Rangers sent an email to my GR's members offering them flights to Porto in January. 15 minutes before a European game kicks off. What are you supposed to do with that? What's the point? And see the amount of times in the last 6 months that they've sent us ticket applications when we've been away at European trips, or buy it, you've been allocated a ticket for such and such a game, buy it now, and you're at Ibrox waiting for a game to kick off. And okay, you've got a couple of days to do it, but a lot of people like to do it as soon as you get it so they don't forget. It's daft things. They're sending stuff out, when the people that are going to act on it are going to be in the stadium watching the football. You know what I mean? Even daft things like you've got the media team putting out team lines and having to recall them on X because they've made a spelling mistake. It's just daft things like that. But it's all through the club. It's not just what we see on the pitch. It's all the way through the club because there's no leadership. It's rudderless. I mean, there was an occasion about 3 weeks ago, right? One of the Rangers ladies' team lineups. They had a picture of Alice Griffiths holding her shirt up, and it said Griffiths on the back of it, and they spelt her name wrong in the team lines. Her shirt's in the middle of the picture, and they spelt her name wrong. It's just basic stuff. And if you can't get the basics right, you'll never get the important stuff right. You'll never get the important stuff right. And the important
shambles. Can you manage to grab that Kool-Aid guy's point? Can you see it? Can you still grab that? Right. So basically what he said is why do the players not come together at some point in the middle of the game and just say, right, let's name it this. Let's get together and try and do something. Which I said, I didn't go all the way through it. I said, can I get hang with that? That was my internet that broke. I wasn't going to say that.
Of course it was.
Right. But basically, so I watched the open goal, and it might have been Ryan Jack and it might have been Kevin Thompson. One of them was talking, or even Halliday talking about Barry Ferguson. And he was a master at it. So he would sit there and the team talk we gave out and the tactics we gave out and they get into the game. And the game wasn't going exactly how or what was said. And he wasn't sure what the manager was trying to do. He knew he had to win the game. And apparently John Gregg used to do this as well. And he used to say, right, and he used to get almost a team meeting on the park by little sentences passed about to say, listen, this isn't working. You need to do this. And the captain basically grabbed the team together, told them what needs to change right now, and the players changed it. And the manager wouldn't say what in the interview after the game. He would just take the superlatives. He would just say, the team done really well, but they've done what they asked for. They've done what we asked, but it wasn't asked. It was basically the players being professional enough to realise this isn't going the way either the manager or us is wanting this game to go. And apparently, I'm sure it was either Ryan Jack or Thompson said that happens a lot in football all over the place. Yeah. That the captains and the big the big men in the team, the big stars in the team grab the team and say, listen, this isn't working in the middle of a game, and they start to move things about a wee bit and talk it around. The manager's got to take it because you either win the game or you stop goals going in. We don't have those players. I thought that Cooley guy had a great point. We don't have the players that'll do that'll grab the team and say, listen, I know what he's saying, but this isn't working. This hasn't been working for a while. So we need to start doing this right now. Like your Fergusons, your Amorusos, your John Greggs, all these big captains of Rangers would have done that. But I don't think we have any players at all in that team that has the gusto to do that.
No, that's the
No,
point
we
I was trying to make. That's the point I was trying to make earlier, because a lot of the players were saying they're all young players, all young prospect players. We don't have the experience to do that, because let's be honest, the senior players are having a team meeting on the pitch and they're saying, "Look, this is what we're going to do." They know they have to get it right. They have to go in and win that game. Otherwise, they're nuts on the chopping block.
Hold on. Jack Butland's in his 30s. Cornelius is 27. Sutter's 27, or he's run about that age. Tav's in his 30s.
Cornelius
Raskin's 24.
Cornelius has been in the
24.
door. Cornelius has been in the door 5 minutes. So you can't.
I don't care if you've been. I don't care if you've been in the door. My dogs are getting angry now with you, Wolf. You hear that? I don't care if they've been in the door 5 minutes or not. See if you've got that mentality. That mentality starts as soon as you walk in the door.
I agree with you, but Kenny's right. But for some reason, we just don't do it. It just doesn't work. I mean, and I'll go back to what I said earlier.
Raphael's 30.
Go back to what I said earlier. Demi said it on here for weeks and weeks and weeks, right? That do it their way, because you can't take them all off. You can't drop them all because he's only got an infinite number of players in the squad.
No, listen, I understand that and I agree with that and I agree with everything these are saying, but for people who think that we don't have players who are experienced, I mean, what age is Miofsky? Right? See, we meant
experienced enough. I think we just meant that can get the team to go together with them and realise that
but they've brought in a bunch of players. 14 players, let's not forget, Russell Martin's brought into this football club. And it's not as if they're all 18, 19. They're not all 18, 19. I think my point's made.
No, true. No, you're right. But there's not... This might be controversial. I don't really want it to sound that way, right? But there's not enough Rangers men in the club in positions that matter on the pitch, in the team. There just isn't. I mean, the fact that Thelwell came in, right, and automatically dismissed the Scottish market is ridiculous, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the word on the street is he tried to stop the Cameron deal because he didn't fancy him as a player. He's been playing him before he got injured, and he's been one of the standouts. But,
Wolf, they get rid of Arfield a year early.
100%.
And he didn't want Mulligan either. He stopped the Mulligan deal.
Right. And that's not. Arfield's not on the current incumbents because before they came in. But if you've got a choice between Ryan Jack, who I think is a terrific football player but never fit, or Scott Arfield, who's 37, but would run through a brick wall for you, you keep Scott Arfield and you let Ryan Jack go.
Even to educate the new players coming in and what it means to be and lead by example and lead by training sessions and lead by tactics and lead by talks and team talks and back up the captain. As you say, Wolf, all of that nucleus identity doesn't exist. Whereas Rangers were lucky we had 4, 5, 6 players that would all bounce into the one unique little place, and the players that come in would kind of almost mould into that and become those type of players. But everybody's running about with a lack of identity, and we've not got the captain, unfortunately, that has that backing.
What I will say, Wolf, just before you jump in, Wolf, right, and I'll let you come back on your point in 2 seconds. I get it, not a lot of Rangers men in there. I get it, not having like a Barry Ferguson in the middle of the park or a Stephen Davis in the middle of the park or even a Ryan Jack in there. I get that, right? But you know what combats that? Players that you bring in with the right mentality. Players that come into the football club, know what the football club's about, but more importantly than knowing what the football club's about, bringing in players that want to win. Bring in players who see when you drop points, see when you draw, it hurts them. And I know that they are few and far between now, those type of players, right? Especially when you look down south and, we lost that game. Oh, there's $300,000 went into my bank, right? I get that. But when you're bringing players in, old school players that might not be the best quality-wise, right? But will give you absolutely everything every time they step out onto that park. I know he was crap. No, I know he was poor last night, right? But if we had a team of 11 Nico Raskins, we'd win nearly every week in Scotland.
Yeah. I totally agree with that, by the way. Totally agree with that, because every club, every team that we won a treble or a double, whatever, has had foreign players ripped right through it. And what happened was, though, you had a nucleus in there that could maybe... Do you know what? It's an individual problem. You're right, Martin. It's an individual person who has to come in and say, right, I lost that ball. I'm going to go and get that back. And if you can get every single position in there that they people are willing to do that, you're right. There'll be a different type of hunger, a different type of attitude. I just don't think we've got certain mentalities in there. But I do think the manager has regressed players who are pretty decent we've brought in. And I'm going to stand by it. I think they've got some really decent players in there. I just think that there's something nigging away at them at the minute.
Wolf, can I put this to you, Wolf, for Cassie? Celtic don't have issues getting foreign players into the culture. Look at he was at them, and look what it meant to play against us last night. Didn't play that much for Celtic, as far as I know. I don't think he was really a great player, as far as I know the fans weren't that into him. Look how much that meant to him last night when he scored that goal.
Because they absolutely detest us, right? They get it almost kicked into them that you will not like them, you will despise that football club, right? We are too nice. I said it a couple of nights ago, right? Nice people don't get nice things. We're too nice. We are far too nice. We don't have anybody in the club who can greet the new players and say, look, this is what Rangers means. Right? We used to have the late great Jimmy Bell used to do it. The late great Sandy Jardine used to do it. Mr. Gregg used to do it, but he's taking a bit of a back seat because he's not getting any younger. We don't have that anymore. Folk that that say, look, this is what Rangers means. Look at all this. This is Ibrox. These trophies didn't just come here by chance. This is how we do this. This is what Rangers means to people. You know what I mean? We don't get that anymore. You're right. I've spoke to people who've had kids that have signed for Celtic Boys Club, right? And the first thing they're told is you will hate Rangers, right? Whether it's officially or unofficially, that's what they're told. And they get that almost knocked into them, right? It's the same with this mob up here in Aberdeen. They get told the same, right? You won't like Rangers. And that's fine. Nobody likes us. That's great. Brilliant. We are too nice. Far, far too nice. And it stems from the top. We're just too nice. And we need to stop being too nice. I mean, the point I was going to make a couple of minutes ago, right? Kevin Thompson got let go as a coach in the summer, right? I mean, Kenny was saying, Rangers men about the place, not necessarily on the pitch, to tell them what it means. Kevin Thompson didn't grow up a Rangers man, but Kevin Thompson now knows what it means to play for Rangers. I wouldn't go as far as say he loves Rangers, but he knows what being a Ranger means. A guy like that about the training ground, even if he's only training the kids, but rubbing shoulders with the first team players in the canteen with them, all that sort of stuff. That's got to help them understand what it means. They could do worse than get the much lamented recently by TalkSport fan media guys into a team meeting and say, look, speak to us, tell us what it means to the support. Or, you can't just get random guys off the street because you'll end up getting lunatics like me shouting at them. I mean, but they could pick sensible people like our Kenny here and say, right, go in here and speak to these guys. Tell them what it means, show them what it means,
I've personally been asked to go and do shows with other Celtic podcasts. That was something that I'm not going to say who it was. They were trying to set some stuff up. I don't know if they ever reached out to the Celtic podcasts or not. I've been asked, would you do a show with a Celtic podcast? And I said, no, I wouldn't. I don't care how much money you're offering me. No doing it. They done ages ago. Sky done that thing, and this might be petty. I don't know. But do you remember Sky done that thing where they contacted a bunch of Rangers podcasts and a bunch of Celtic podcasts, and they got them to come down and sit in a studio like that overlap type thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I wasn't asked. Don't get me wrong, but if I was asked, I'd have said nope, not.
I couldn't do something like that. But that's the problem. This, as a support, we know what it means, but there's not enough people. I know there is members of staff at the club that know what it means, but people in positions of authority, people that movers and shakers at the club, haven't got a clue what it means. They don't know what it means. Other clubs, they know what it means. They know what it means to beat us. We're there to be shot at, right? That lot across the city are taught to despise us. That's their very being. That's all that matters. I mean, if you speak to your average Celtic supporter, right, they would happily not win the league as long as we didn't win it, right? If they beat us 4 times a season, they wouldn't care who wins the league if they beat us 4 times a season, as long as it ain't us. Because the only thing, look at the amount of people. How many times have you? I mean, I've had it personally. How many times have you spoke to somebody from a Celtic and they say, watch your pod? We get beat. What's the viewing figures like on this podcast? They're through the roof because they all tune in, right? Because they all tune in, right? If they get beat, would you ever tune in a Celtic podcast? I know I wouldn't.
No, you couldn't pay me.
How many Rangers players sit down with a club representative that come through the doors and sit through the Rangers story? Because I know firsthand that Celtic players get shown the story of where they came from, all the hardships, how the guy started them, how it came from Ireland and all that. That's how it's bred into players like your Japanese players and all the rest of it. Right? I can tell you right now, there's no way a guard sits
Which
down
is the right,
and the Rangers
which is
story.
absolutely the right thing to do. You tell
Correct.
your players about the history of your club.
Yes, here's where we're going wrong, boys, because this is getting educated into the players to say, "Oi, that is what you're playing for now. Look at that. Look at all the adversity we had today. You know, look at the brothers that started it. We could do it so easily, and that is part of your culture as you get a player in that door, and you need to make sure that you get some sort of raw feeling and emotion into those players."
A few years ago, right? The then director, Stuart Robertson, organised it, right? The then directors and a lot of the staff did the Founders Trail. Then I believe the players did it. I'm not sure if they actually did the bus tour trail or if they got the presentation, right? That should be done at the end of every transfer window. As soon as new players come in the building, sit down, Founders Trail. I know for a fact that Ian McCall and Gordon that do that would come in and do that for Rangers. They would, because they'd be delighted, they'd be honoured to do it.
And how much of a change would you see in the players? Well, we all know, Martin. We all know that would change things exponentially if you would pull in the heartstrings of why you're in here. Not just because it was a coup. We got this guy, he's a young fit player, or he's came for this club, he's going to be a brilliant winger. No, sit and educate them right through the head that this is how hard it was to start a club then. This is the stuff we had to put up with to keep it going. This is the crap we went through. This is what we're fighting for. This is why we're Rangers. This is why we are who we are. This is why we are the people. Now you're part of the people. How are you going to help us?
Yeah. And by the way, I will just respond to Celtic Girl in the comments who hasn't spelt girl correctly. For some reason, she's put an H in there. I don't know if that's taught at school or whatever, but that's not how you spell girl, by the way, just to let you know. Didn't you say the person who made the racist remarks wouldn't be back? Tut, tut. Well, he hasn't been back, so I don't know why you're trying to gaslight and lie about that. That seems to be your issue. And you're hated because you're a vile fan base and you get all you deserve bigots. Well, lumping everybody in with one or two people, do you know what that is? Do you know what that's classed as? Go and look that up, and I will take absolutely none of that crap off of people who support Celtic, right? I'm not going to say why. You know why. I ain't taking no crap off yous, right? So, see, before you start coming at me and having a go at me, get your facts right, all right? And now banned and deleted because she doesn't know how to spell properly. Anyway, listen, unless you two have got anything else you want to add, I think we're done. Because we're not going to preview the Livingston game, let's be honest. I tried my best to preview the Livingston game, but you weren't having it, so... Nothing else? Are you happy?
I'm not really wanting to get into Livingston.
You just don't want to go back in the cage, Kerry, do you? That's for that.
No, listen, I've managed to get her pedaling like a champion, man. My internet's doing great. I want to stay for an hour.
Oh, anyways, right, let's go, folks. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night, if you want. I hope this show's maybe helped a wee bit in helping you enjoy the rest of your Friday night. We'll be back tomorrow with some member shows, and then of course we're back on Sunday with build up, watch along, and full post-match reaction as well. Wolf, thank you very much. Kenny, thank you very much as well, my friend. Thank you for all the super chats tonight. C-Max as well. I believe he's been a member before, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you very much, C-Max, for becoming a YouTube member, either for the first time or again. I'm pretty sure it's again. And I hope you enjoy all the extra content. Thank you for all the super chats tonight as well, folks. All the support you give us. It is really, really appreciated. And we will be back very, very soon.